Okay, so slope and y-intercept from a table. So remember, slope is rise over run, or change in y over change in x. Sorry, that pink pen started. So change in y over change in x. That's not very easy to see. Let me focus. There we go. And the y-intercept is the initial value, and then it's when x equals 0. If you think about a line, remember the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So let's just say there was a point right here. This would be my y-intercept because it's where it crosses the y-axis. And then if you think about that point would be, remember, x comma y. That point would be left or right 0. It didn't move left or right, it just moved up, let's say like 5. So you want to highlight that because that's important. It's when x equals 0. So if we look at this table right here, the y-intercept is when x equals 0. So this would be my y-intercept. My y-intercept equals 12 because x equaled 0. So you could put the point 0, comma 12. Okay, now let's go ahead and find the slope. So remember, it's the change in y over the change in x, or you hear me say y's overrun the y over the x. So from 12 to 15, that's changing by 3. Man, I really need a pink that works. And then from 15 to 18, that also changes by 3. Sorry, I'm trying to grab out another pink pen quickly. So that changes by 3. And then 18 to 21 also changes by 3. 12 plus 3 is 15, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So I would set it up as change of y over change of x. So it'd be 3 over, and then look at this side. From 0 to 4, that changes by 4. From 4 to 8, changes by 4. 8 to 12 changes by 4. So I would put the change in y was 3, the change in x is 4. So 3/4 would be my slope, where my y-intercept was 12. Okay, now if you look at this one, it's not always the first one. Its initial value, yes, this would technically be the first one, but we want to look when x equals 0, which is right there. So our y-intercept on this one equals 9. And you usually just give the y value, or you're going to be just giving the y value when your x value is 0. So it's just the y value. Okay, then let's go ahead and find the slope. So from 7 to 9, 7 to 9, 9 minus 7 is 2. 11 minus 9 is also 2. and 11 to 13 is 2. So the change in y over change in x is 2 over this side from 5 to 0. So, and remember the way to do this is take the end, subtract the first. I know my batteries are almost dead. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. Negative 5 minus 0 would be negative 5. Negative 5 minus 5 would give you negative 10. So it'd be 2 over negative 5. Again, we don't leave the negative 5 on the bottom. We would just say that the whole slope is negative. So it'd be 2/5. So negative 2 over 5. Okay, let's do this next one. Let me get my highlighter and let's find the y-intercept. So I'm looking for when x equals 0. Well, x doesn't equal 0 in any of those. So if y-intercept is not visible, continue pattern. Oh, sorry. Continue pattern to find it. So if we look at this table, we should probably find the slope first just so that we can find the pattern. Notice it's 3, 6, 9, 12. So we know that this side is changing by 3. And so if I want to continue, that needs to go back 3. So some number plus 3 gives you 3. Well, that would be 0. So 0. And then I need to continue this side. So I had to go back to find the 0. And now from 4 to 10, that goes up 4. And then 10 to 16, that's 6. 16 to 22 is also 6. Oh, there's my problem, sorry. From 4 to 10, that's not 4. 10 minus 4, 10 minus 4 is 6. Sorry, I'm not being very smart this morning. Or I just made a simple mistake, whichever. Of course, you can borrow my whiteout, just ask me and I'll tell you where it's at. So it was 6, and then 6, and then 6. That's why it's sometimes better to just do it in a calculator, not try to think of it. 16 minus 10 is 6. 22 minus 16 is also 6. So all of those are changing by 6. So I need to make this one change by 6. So then 4 minus 6, because I'm working backwards, so rather than adding 6, I'm going to go backwards, so I would need to subtract 6. So 4 minus 6 would be negative 2. So then now I can see my y-intercept. Y-intercept equals negative 2. And then my slope, I'm going to write it on this side because I have more room over here. Slope, or change in y over change in x, is 6 over 3. Well, notice 6 over 3 is not reduced. Both of those numbers, 6 over 3, both of those numbers are divisible by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 3 divided by 3 is 1. We don't leave it as 2 over 1 because 2 divided by 1 is just 2. So my slope would be 2. Okay, now we're going to do, actually I'm going to stop the video and then I'll record a second video for graphs.